Hello, welcome to my channel Conscious Growing, and I'm Matthias. And today I want to talk about distrust and what this means related to our anxiety, to our chronic symptoms. And I just want to explain it as simple as possible. So, anyway, all the things I share here are just my personal experiences, my personal standpoints, and if you can get something out of it, I'm always happy. And if this gives a hint on your own recovery path, it's wonderful, and I'm happy and delighted. So let's talk about distrust. And what I see and feel is when we explain the functioning of the subconscious, we will understand better why distrust is a huge topic. Because in the moment we are thrown into this world, we start to make experiences. So if we compare it with a computer, in the beginning the computer is totally empty. And then we're adding data. And the data is growing. And here is the end of the comparison, because as human beings we make emotional experiences and we make physical experiences, and we start to create belief systems and so on. And the functioning of the subconscious is that every experience we make on all these mentioned levels, we collect these kind of informations, and they are in our system, and we build up some patterns, and some of the patterns are good, of course. Just imagine your morning routine. You get up, brush your teeth, take a shower, have your breakfast, these kind of stuff. You don't have to think about it anymore. It's just in your neural pathways, and you do it each and every day without thinking about it too much. But then, of course, we also make some unpleasant experiences. We get hurt by others. We realize we are not 100% protected by our caregivers, maybe. And experiencing this, we create certain patterns within ourselves. And then maybe even we start to avoid things. We start to avoid certain situations and so on. So all these behaviors are saved in the subconscious. So that's why when we come to similar situations in life, old fears come up, old sensations come up, physical sensations. And very often we don't understand the relationship. We don't understand, why do I feel this fear right now? I have no clue, because outwardly I'm not in a dangerous situation. I'm just sitting on my chair. I'm just go for a walk. Why do I have heart palpitations, signals of anxiety and so on? And this has happened because there were some behaviors and some reaction patterns that hit a certain threshold in our life. That means these, let me call them unhealthy pathways in the subconscious, were like getting too strong in our life. And now we have the impression the subconscious is leading our life. Means we are led by the anxiety, we are led by the unhealthy patterns. I know I should behave differently, but it feels so intense and strong, and I'm doing this old stuff over and over again. Try to figure it out in my mind, what is wrong, and so then we end up in this rumination cycles. And so the more we are in these patterns, the deeper these neural pathways act and behave. And if we continue to look like this, then you might see, okay, I continued with these anxious patterns, and therefore the cycle of anxiety got deeper and deeper and more intense. And just like this, we are just manifesting these kind of old belief systems and habits in us. And everything is stored. And we, out of anxiety, out of fear, we are just deepening these kind of pathways. So the question is, what is the solution? And I find that, and I have spoken about this several times already, the solution isn't mainly to grab in the past and find this one trauma or these root causes. But what I find is that the root cause, if there is one root cause to name, because this is what makes people crazy when they are anxious, is like, what could be the root cause? And then they're going to grab and to search, but this even brings more anxiety because they're desperately trying to find the root cause. But as I find is, when I would name the root cause, I would say it's distrust. And distrust can have many colors and root causes of distrust. For example, I give the example of the caregiver. So if we don't trust our caregivers, then there is a lack of trust, and this causes distrust. And then with this distrust, we continue to go on in our lives, and then we meet someone and we like this person and we're thinking about to come closer, to start a relationship. But then we feel in ourselves there is this anxiety, there's this distrust in me, because what happened in the past, my caregivers were not on my side at a certain point. So I was scared at that time. And now this might happen again. And then we are anxious. And because we're anxious, we are not able to open really up for this new person. And we might use these defense mechanisms. And on one hand, of course, we want, because everyone wants love, everyone wants care and nourishment and joy. But there is this distrust from the past, and you're not able to jump over your own old patterns, and therefore you create some safety mechanisms in order not to open up for this other person. And this is just one example, and there are many more examples. So there also can be there is something, so in this example, the distrust is in the other person. You made this experience, and the distrust is in the partner, or in the caregivers, or in the friendships, and so on. Lots of possible examples. Your boss at work, and so on. So you're always kind of suspicious. And then, on the other hand, there can be distrust in yourself, because out of lack of self-trust, you create certain patterns. You don't believe that you are able to do this job. You don't believe that you are able to get into this plane and fly to a foreign country. But the root cause is some distrust in yourself, because there is this voice in your head that's saying, we can't make it. Or another flavor of this voice could be, we are not good enough. But all this distrust is in the subconscious, and it was charged over the years, and like this we end up in some patterns. And what I find is it's not necessary to grab in the past, but to understand the pattern is quite helpful. Because let's say you don't have this trust in yourself for some reason, and the only one who can find it out is you. And so when you're in the anxiety state, or in the state of having chronic symptoms, which is combined in most of the cases, of course, you can have a look at the momentary situation. In other words, what are your thoughts about your fear? What are you scared of? What pops up in your daily life? And to make it more transparent, I give another example. Let's say you have the wish to change your job, and since childhood you were dreaming about becoming a dancer, for example, but you end up as an accountant, and you're unhappy in this job. But the distrust kept you in the accounting job, year after year, kind of dragging and so on. But then sometimes the anxiety gets worse, symptoms get worse, you feel at the wrong place in your life, but this kind of distrust is your topic. So sometimes the old dreams come back to be a dancer. You think of it, you dream of it, but it's just a dream. And but then at a certain point, this becomes so strong, and you're so scared of it because your distrust was leading you your whole life, and um, you were staying in the comfort zone, and until you realize that the comfort zone isn't a comfort zone because it's more a prison zone. But you thought, okay, here I earn my money, I can feed my family, can feed my children, and so on. So you continue to do it. But then this wish becomes so strong again that you have to take a look. But then there is this gap between the situation and your wish, and in between there is this energy of distrust. And so the question is, what do we need in this moment? We need to make small bridges between the current professional situation and the dream. And okay, I have to admit the dancer example is not very accurate at this point because, as we know, it wouldn't be easy to become a dancer when you are 50 already, so or even younger. But this is just an analogy, and just see it for this. And so, in other words, to become a dancer now, you have to change your patterns. So, in other words, you start to dance again. You go to a studio and you take a trial lesson and you feel, wow, this old energy comes back. I experience some fun and joy. And you make the next appointments. You book a class and you go regularly. And then you are back into it and you are expressing yourself. You feel joy and laughter, and you connect with other people with the same interests. And then you grow into it. And that might change your life, because this example shows maybe you don't have to be the professional dancer. Maybe it's enough to have this in your life regularly, and even you can progress on the level you are and the age you have and so on. So you have the chance to build new pathways. And guess what? Your subconscious is registering everything. Sorry, you know? Okay, but you know what I mean? And so you do it again, and you do it again, and so the joy comes back. And there's maybe even changes your relationship to your accounting job, because you feel more alive, you feel more joy, and this influences indirectly your work, and you become a new person, more happy, more joyful, and your neural pathways change for the better. They make new experiences. If she or he goes into the studio, she's a new person, and this is carrying her, or this is changing some physical chemistry as well. So on many layers you make a change. And on top of it, you build up trust. And you reverse the distrust with new trust. And this is saved in your system. And so I could give thousands of more examples, of course. But what I want to point out is, or want to encourage you to have a look at your momentary situation and ask yourself, what do I want? And if you know what you want, and it can be very small, let's say you're bedridden, then your next step is to get up and sit on the edge of your bed for 10 seconds. And the next step is going to the bathroom on your own. And the next step is to make a tea. And there can be weeks, days and weeks in between, doesn't matter. It's not about the speed and it's not about the progress, but it's about the reprogramming. And then other steps following in the outside world. You go for the first walk. You have the first visit in the grocery store and so on. And while you're bedridden, your brain is telling you, we are off this world, nothing to do, no way, everything is a threat. Not even a threat, it's impossible to do these things I just mentioned. But then slowly you do it. And you make the experience that this is possible. And then you reverse distrust with trust. And this is an ongoing process, because the more you convince this distrust in you that it is possible, then your subconscious will realize that these old distrusting pathways have no value anymore. And this is a beautiful part of neuroplasticity, because we can change these neural pathways. And how can we change them? Only in the here and now. Every thought about the past and every thought about the future is absolutely pointless. The only decision we can make to reverse distrust to trust is in the here and now, in these little steps. And I repeat myself, you don't need to grab in the past, but it's helpful to realize your distrust patterns in the here and now. Because then you can see, okay, it's you again. My old subconscious belief system is appearing, and I have the choice right now. Do I want to go this old road? Or do I decide, no, it can be here. There's still some energy of this subconscious mind. We can't ignore it. It's still unpleasant. It causes anxiety, it causes adrenaline in the system, lots of unpleasant stuff. We can't ignore it. We don't need to ignore it. We can let it be there, but our conscious brain can make decisions to reverse distrust. And this is all that it is from my point. And This is nothing other than training. Train ourselves in a new reality, so to speak. And then safety comes. The feeling of safety also comes. Because we build the safety with our behaviors and actions, and not our thoughts. And this is a key to get new pathways. All right, I'm gonna end here. So I think this is nice food for thought and reflection, and it might help you to have a look in your momentary situations and to see, there I'm going there, the old pathways, and then see if I can make new choices. And that's all. We acknowledge and we respect that it is like this right now, but the momentary state is not the end of the world, for sure not. It's in our own hands. All right, so thanks for listening, and subscribe my channel if you want more content like this, and leave a comment if you like, and if you want some personal support, you can check my webpage, the link on the description, and we can get in touch. So take care of yourself, and bye for now.